Hello everyone, welcome to the Smashi Business Show. Today is July 11th, Friday. Finally, the weekend is here. Too tired this week. Very busy week. But I'm Abdul Majid Awan.
And I'm Ward Ahmed, and we've got a packed show for you today. Firstly, we're going to be discussing how two BCG top executives have been fired from their roles. Secondly, Trump has slapped up to 30% tariffs on Iraq, Algeria, Libya, and Tunisia in this new trade push. And Linda Yaccarino has stepped down as Execs CEO after 2 years in the role. And Dubai Airports has shut down the IPO buzz rumors.
And the very first story for today is really interesting. We've covered this story a lot. Boston Consulting Group has been in our crosshairs and FT's crosshairs, I think. But two senior executives at the Boston Consulting Group have been removed from their leadership roles after revelations surrounding the firm's controversial work in Gaza. The changes follow an internal investigation sparked by reporting in the Financial Times.
So Adam Farber, BCG's chief risk officer, and Rich Hutchinson, head of the social impact practice, are stepping down from those positions. Both will remain at the firm in client-facing roles, but no longer hold leadership titles.
And the FT, obviously Financial Times, had reported that a BCG team helped model the costs of relocating Palestinians from Gaza, while BCG said Farber and Hutchinson were misled about the project's details. The internal probe confirmed process failures and reputational harm.
BCG also acknowledged its staff were more involved in launching the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation than initially disclosed. That program, backed by Israel and the U.S., was meant to replace UN-administered aid, but has been controversial due to mass Palestinian casualties.
And BCG CEO Christoph Schweizer told staff that Farber's decision to step down showed leadership and accountability. The firm previously fired two partners who led the project and admitted its governance processes had failed to prevent the scandal.
Just to correct a slight mistake that I made, it was actually two partners that were fired previously, but here, the new update about this story that we're seeing is the fact that there's two employees in big leadership roles, and if you notice, it's the risk roles. You know, these are the people that are meant to manage fallouts. They're meant to prevent a situation like having a big American giant like BCG involving itself in quite literally planning out the cost estimates for relocating Palestinians. Basically, what the entire thing was they basically planned to provide up to 500,000 Palestinians, each one with $9,500. Basically, that's up to $5 billion in total with all of them, so that they can relocate. And they basically planned out the entire model. And what we're seeing now is the people who are involved in, the risk assessment of the company are the people who have been asked to step down from their leadership roles. Honestly, Majid, can I be honest? Like, I would rather be fired. Like, imagine, look at it like this. Imagine you're the head of blah, blah, blah. You're like a director and you're doing a great job. And then like you are literally told to stand down. Yeah. And then you want to go speak to like, I don't know, a BCG intern and tell them to do work. And the intern is probably like, didn't they ask you to step down from your leadership role? Like, why should I take any instructions from you? I would honestly rather be fired.
Yeah, it's a demotion, obviously, and demotions are never good. But I think in this industry, the consulting industry, as we've talked about over so many months, they're in a very bad position. PwC is wrapping up in Africa. They've wrapped up all their business centers in Africa. Saudi Arabia banned them for 1 year. They have a case. Last year, they got fined in China and UK. This year, they got fined in UK again. Deloitte, I was reading yesterday, had some problems going on. Completely missed the story, didn't read the full story. I will read it and find it out what was happening, but something is happening with Deloitte as well. Then we have BCG, Boston Consulting Group. They're planning to replace Palestinians. All their inside news is coming out. I remember the main part of the story is actually the people who are working for Boston Consulting Group, the employees. they took a stand against the company because as the Gaza humanitarian project, the whole thing started. Initially, they thought it was just being aid and helping, putting up a system to help the people get aid, right? As soon as they went deeper into the conversation and they were asked to make plans to replace Gazans, relocate them, create the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which has SRS working with them, which is run by CIA. Very deep. It goes very deep. And I think if we found all of that out, eventually the employees know more than us, obviously. Anyone talks to me about Augustus Media, I will know more because I know the company inside out. I work at the company.
Yeah.
People about Smashi business, even 11th Way to an extent, people, I will have more knowledge, right? So the company people always have more knowledge. Just to like add more onto it, with Microsoft, the same thing has happened. The Microsoft employees came forward and they were like, oh, they sold the software to Israel.
They formed an entire group,
so
Azure for
with big firms, we've started seeing that employees, everyone, people actually have, the employees also actually have like found their soul that just working for a big company and staying there and like putting your self-conscience on the side and just working to make money, that's not the case.
Yeah.
I think the newer generation of employees, they want accountability of whatever they're doing on, shouldn't be unethical, shouldn't be immoral. They should add some value to the company. And if that value is not helping someone eventually, it's causing problems. Especially in this case, Gaza.
You know what is like so unfair, I think? It's the fact that, you know, you have people who are losing their lives every single day in Palestine, and then these two BCG executives just lose a role. You know, they don't even lose their job. You know, they're going to go back to client facing. So what is client facing? That means they're going to be in direct contact with people who can actually do these things. And just speaking of Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, Gaza health authorities have actually reported that over 500 people, probably more, have been killed in these areas. And by the way, these consultancy firms, like honestly, they do not learn. Because Majid, remember how me and you had this discussion that, you know, maybe consultancies would be received better by the Arabs, would be received better by Arab companies if maybe they actually had Arab leadership, right?
Yeah.
They don't learn because I just read an article recently that PwC, the new head that they want to put in place, her name is Laura Hinton. And, you know, while Laura Hinton has a great record and everything, Laura Hinton she's Western, you know, she's not from the Arab world. So you want her to come lead the Middle East, which, by the way, the Middle East makes up 1/3 of PwC's Middle East and UK income, which is about $7 billion. So they're doing it again. They're doing the same mistake again. They're sending consultants who are not Arab to lead the Arabs in the new direction that they're going into. And I think the fact that it's so interesting that, you know, the Middle East is making up 1/3 of PwC's income, because this just really does come into the fact that there are so many deals that are happening here, and you know, that person that gets that job, that's like the most exciting part of it right now. And I'm guessing that Laura Hinton is completely excited, but I'm not so sure if Middle Eastern companies that are being advised by PwC are. You know, that is how things like these happen. Like, you know, coming up with a scheme to relocate Palestinians, you need to put somebody in the room who can actually be like, wait, this is wrong. This does not make any sense. You can't keep having Sean Maguires in the room. It doesn't make sense for people.
Yeah, the Deloitte story that I was talking about, basically there's a fintech platform, Sten, in UK. And the UK watchdog, the UK's accounting watchdog, has basically opened an investigation into Deloitte. And they're looking at how Deloitte actually was a part of their consulting, auditing. And that company, fintech, Sten, STENN, basically for like 2-3 years was making fictitious transactions just to show that, oh, we're doing good. So it's a fintech platform for money, obviously. Basic understanding is it's used to transfer money or do something with the money. That's a fintech platform. But they were doing fictitious transactions, and Deloitte was auditing them. And Deloitte is now under investigation by UK. So imagine all these big four, big five, they're coming under a lot of scrutiny. Their audits are bogus. Their consultancy is so overpriced. Another news that I saw recently, and it's right in front of me. So PwC PricewaterhouseCoopers, basically. So they have cut their prices for some of the services. Why? Because the clients came and they were like, now you're using AI, bro. Now you can't say that I have put 10 people on the team to make this presentation or this or that for you. Now you're using AI. So
They
your
actually never
personal
put 10 people. They never
Yeah,
they never put 10
but
people.
yeah, it was always the junior most executive making the everything, and then
Never.
everyone just
I-
above signing it.
I remember Majid.
Yeah.
I know a friend. She used to work for BCG, and she had a pretty high up role there. And she said that during her time working there, the amount
BCG,
of
sorry?
BCG,
Oh,
exactly
nice,
BCG.
nice.
She said that the amount of PowerPoints I would make in a day, like she was like it was the most depressing time of her life because she'd make PowerPoint after PowerPoint after PowerPoint, and it would just all blend into each other. But she did say it was the best experience of her life, and that it taught her a lot about building different companies and how to go about things. But no, it was never a group of 10 people doing them. It's just one person who's probably assigned to a couple
It's
of
like
companies.
a group assignment in universities or colleges. There's only one guy who's working on the presentation.
Because Majid, how do you think
all
they're
the others
making
just
so
come
much
and present
money?
it.
How do you think they're making so much money? They're not just charging a lot. They take one employee and they give them a billion things to do.
Yeah, and let's talk about making money. U.S. President Donald Trump has announced new tariffs.
What?
Yeah, he's trying to make a lot of money from tariffs. So U.S. President Donald Trump has announced new
I'm gonna blame
tariffs.
Friday mood.
Yeah, targeting 12 countries in total, 4 of which are Arab nations. The White House says the measures will go into effect on August 1st.
So Iraq, Algeria, and Libya will face a 30% tariff, while Tunisia will be hit with a 25% tariff. Now, these hikes are part of Trump's broader strategy to pressure nations into new trade agreements.
And other countries on the list include Japan, the most surprising country on US's list, because apparently all the statistics point that the most debt that the US has is from Japan. So Japan is the most money-giving country to the US, and he wants to put a tariff on them. South Korea then Malaysia, they all will face 25% tariffs. To be honest, this is just a warning. He says it will go in effect on August 1, so he's giving them like 20 days to negotiate. South Africa is also on the list with a 30% rate. Laos and Myanmar will see tariffs rise to 40%.
So Trump has offered a 90-day grace period where tariffs will be temporarily reduced by 10%. Now, this window is intended for negotiation, but many countries reportedly failed to secure deals with Washington.
And White House Press Secretary Carolyn Levitt, I love the lady. She's so confident on the podium, to be honest. Whenever she's defending Trump, I would want someone like that to defend me someday.
I can't tell if this is a compliment, Maggie.
You look at her press conferences, the way she looks at you and says,
She's doing her
even if
job
the
well.
world is saying that it's not true, she will look at you dead in your eyes and be like, no, it's true. If Mr. Trump said it, it's true. So, but yeah, very like authoritative personality. Good choice by Trump. But she says the president is preparing a second wave of tariffs targeting another 12 countries this week. The move may further fuel trade tensions globally, which it already has, especially across the Middle East and Asia. And we all remember the first time he put up who brought a whole board. Remember, tariffs, and then White House
He
published.
really made us think that they're gone. They're
but
not gone.
For 60 days, there was a pause. Now, July 9 was the date when all the tariffs, if anyone wanted to negotiate, they could negotiate. A lot of people did. A lot of people didn't. Europe tried to negotiate. Europe as a whole tried to negotiate with the US, failed. Canada, with the new prime minister, they are trying to negotiate. They failed. There is still no final decision. And Trump today in the morning threatened. Canada is one of the biggest trading partners with the US. So you have to understand how important it is that he doesn't put tariffs on them, because they'll stop trading with them. Because Canada buys a lot of US stuff. But he's like, no, I will tariff you 35% on Canada. That's the threat that he's given. And then the Canadian Prime Minister, he came on, tweeted on X, how can I say that? He posted on X that it's just a new deadline for me and I will make it work. And imagine that guy is on a holiday.
Wow.
Mr. Trump is ruining his in-country holiday. He didn't travel outside. He took a short holiday. The Prime Minister, and Mr. Trump was like, no, I will ruin it and I will put tariffs on you I will threaten you with tariffs when you're on your holiday. So he's working on his holiday. But yeah, that's what's happening. He's threatening everyone. He just wants everyone to come to the table and be like, give me something.
But like Majid, like just, speaking of that table, that Middle Eastern table, where he's putting all of these countries clearly on a chopping block, and you know what this honestly made me think about? It made me think about Tunisia. The Arab Spring, what was it triggered by? It was triggered by this man, Mohammed Bouazizi. And, he self-emulated himself.
Yeah, because he was selling fruits on the street. I remember the story.
He was a street vendor, and what basically happened is the municipality in Tunisia basically confiscated basically what he needed to literally sell and take care of his uncle, his mom, his family. And during that time, basically, in 2010, what was happening in Tunisia is that most of the young population of Tunisia could not find employment, and that was because of the corruption that was happening and because of their economy. So I think when you take a look at these tariffs, it's really easy for us to sit here and be like, Trump is crazy, but what he is doing is he is perpetuating the cycle. That is exactly what it is. And it's concerning because is there going to be more Mohammed Bouazizis that are going to do this to themselves,
We've talked about it multiple times that at the end of the day, it's the lowest denominator, the consumer, normal people who make a salary, who do their small work, earn something, and then try to put food on the table every day. They all get affected. And obviously, on the country level, if you even go from there to macroeconomic level, Mr. Trump and the presidents or the prime ministers and the rulers of those countries, they should think about that. It's their job. They were elected to think about the normal people. The very thing that I love about UAE, Varad is also saying, why are you praising UAE always? It's
it's a good thing, but you can mention Saudi, you can mention Qatar, but Magic goes to the UAE.
Yeah, because see, it's not even that I'm living here. I would love to live in Saudi. Yeah.
Give him that passport.
I would love to live in Qatar. I went to Qatar. I loved it. Saudi Arabia, I loved it. Spent 8 days there. Everything is great in these, 2-3 countries.
But the UAE was my true love.
But there is UAE has something very, very different which those countries don't have. Even Saudi and Qatar, right next to it, same culture, same people, same mentality of hospitality and everything. UAE just has something, and that thing what I've realized over 3 years is that the rulers, whatever policy is made, it's never, this is because UAE, this is because Dubai, this is because Abu Dhabi. Every policy at its core is, this is because people. Because we're doing it, because people will processes will simplify for normal people. Using AI in all the processes of opening a business, getting your Emirates ID, it's every day the think of reducing one step from the system. So if you're getting a new visa, if you're coming to UAE, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, wherever, and you're going through the process of getting a visa, the Emirates ID, going through the medical, every day they try to remove one step from it. Every day. So whenever you see the cabinet meetings which happen in that very famous Kasral, what's the name of that
I know what
palace?
you're talking about.
Kasral something. Whenever the cabinet meetings happen, cabinet is basically federal government, all the federal heads, all the heads of the positions in UAE sit there. The Dubai ruler is Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, he's the head. After looking at all the cabinets meeting over the last year when I've been with Smashi Business, taking a deeper look, otherwise I will always be like, okay, this happened. But this time, over the last year, I've realized every cabinet meeting, they announce at least one thing which helps the people on the ground, on the lowest denominator, the lowest level of people.
I don't even think you're allowed to exist on the ground like that here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't homelessness prohibited in the UAE?
Yeah, but they have set up systems.
But by the way, I do agree with that. And I'll tell you why I agree with that. I think what can lead to bad economies is uprisings. Yeah. And how do uprisings happen? How do Mohammed Bouazizis happen, like what happened in Tunisia in the Arab Spring? These situations happen when, as a country, you have very wealthy people, and you have a very specific amount of communities that you see living on the streets, that you see with vendors. And I think the reason why I do not blame the UAE whatsoever for prohibiting homeless people is that, what do you think happens when there's homeless people in the street? what happens to them at some point mentally?
Yeah.
They might start stealing from people. They might start harassing people. And this is something we see in the West. We see a law in the US and Canada. The amount of stories I see online, family members telling me, you know, I'm not saying there's not good homeless people. There's a lot of good people. But it's the fact that one woman is like, this homeless person followed me here. This homeless... Do you see what I mean? So I think with the UAE specifically, the fact that they don't allow uprisings like that to happen whatsoever, that is what allows the economy to be so strong. When people are so strung up on their political ideologies, their emotions, their feelings, there's this inability to go to work, there's this inability to operate, to build a life for yourself, really, honestly. But yeah, that's...
coming back to our topic of tariffs by Trump.
That was a good conversation, Majid. That was interesting.
A lot of them are coming. Just keep your eyes out. Till August 1, something will keep happening because thanks to Mr. Trump. But yes, another famous person, Linda Yaccarino. The first time I was introduced to her when she met Mr. Prince Al-Walid bin Talal in Saudi Arabia. He hosted him.
And she also visited Dubai at the same time.
After that, she came to Dubai, and I think she met Sheikh Hamdan.
Yes, we covered the story. We did.
So that was our first interaction, and we're like, okay, there is a CEO. We always thought Musk was the only person who was running X. But she has officially stepped down as CEO of X just 2 years after taking the role. Just look at the pressure it takes to run X. In a statement posted on the platform, she thanked the team and reflected on leading the company through major transformation.
So during her tenure, Yaccarino focused on rebuilding advertiser trust, launching features like community notes, which I know a lot of people really love, and helping set the stage for the rollout of X Money. Now, she says she'll continue supporting the company from the sidelines. And
her departure comes as Elon Musk sharpens his focus on integrating his AI venture, XAI, more deeply into X's core operations. We all know that he basically XAI swallowed X recently, so I think that is one of the reasons she's left. But the shift signals a strategic pivot towards creating an everything app built on AI, media, and finance.
Now, X has seen a strong investment interest in the Middle East, particularly from Saudi Arabia and the UAE, key backers of Musk's vision, with Al-Walid bin Talal specifically being the second largest shareholder in X.
And lastly, as X enters a new chapter under fresh leadership, we still don't know who the CEO is. I think the announcement will come soon. It's expected to double down on AI and fintech. I was reading a very interesting article yesterday. Forgot which publication it was, but the headline was great. That Musk's AI obsession basically led to Linda Yaccarino's exit. But Yaccarino leaves behind a platform in transition, while Musk continues reshaping X into a next-gen tech ecosystem.
Honestly, Majid, like it might be true. You don't know. I think working with someone like Elon Musk, who's like a genius, richest man in the world, isn't his net worth over $300 billion?
Just keeping up with him is a task. I think that should be a job.
No.
Keeping up with Elon Musk, right?
Honestly, that is very difficult.
The show is Keeping Up with Kardashians. What's the name
Keeping
of it?
Up with the Kardashians.
Yeah, there should be a
Did
show
you watch
called...
it?
No, I just thought there is a show like that. So yeah, Keeping Up with Elon Musk, it should be a reality show.
But you know, I think when I think about X, the reason why this story specifically is really important to our region, guys, it's because of the fact that Prince Al-Walid bin Talal, founder of Kingdom Holding, he's trying to build the tallest tower in the world right now in Saudi Arabia. The reason why this is so big is, in fact, in 2022, when Elon Musk bought Twitter back at that time for over $40 billion, and you had all of these shareholders who were cashing out. Do you know what actually happened? Al-Walid bin Talal, and he said this in an interview with Forbes, I believe. He was like, I'm not going to cash out. In fact, he even hopped on a video call with Elon Musk, and he was like, listen, I'm not going to cash out of this. And he is now the second largest shareholder in X, and I believe it's valued at over $1.9 billion. And this is one of the smartest investments that I've ever seen. And I think when you Majid, it's so interesting, honestly, to see how deep the web goes. Like, for example, Prince Al-Walid bin Talal's Kingdom Holding, right? They own a lot of stake in the Four Seasons hotels. Guess who else does? It's Bill Gates, and it's through something called, is it Cascades Holding or Cascades
I don't
Investment?
remember.
But he had, that's all right. But Bill Gates, he has an investment company, and it owns a lot of stake in the Four Seasons Hotel. So you would honestly be surprised how these billionaires like Elon Musk, Bill Gates, how they're deeply entrenched into the Middle East. Another one, Nvidia. It was just announced that they, what was the number?
4 trillion? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're the first company ever in the world, in the history of stock exchange, which has crossed a 4 trillion valuation because of the shares prices.
You know, we're seeing how Jensen Huang, when
Yeah.
Donald Trump was here in the region, we saw how Jensen Huang was right at the top of that line to greet the Crown Prince Salman,
Yeah.
and he made sure that, you know, he set up such a huge partnership with Humane, the new artificial intelligence company led by Tariq Amin, the CEO, you know, led by Crown Prince Salman, because it's backed through PIF, and they made sure that they partnered with Nvidia, with Jensen Huang. Jensen Huang, in fact, made sure he had a presence there. Again, we see it in the UAE with Stargate. You know,
Yeah.
Jensen Huang, I saw it, Majid. He was right there in the middle of that photo.
Yeah.
He was that main character that was like, I'm going to be a part of Sam Altman's Stargate project, and even better in the UAE, where they're building, in Abu Dhabi specifically, where they're building the largest database center outside of America. So, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of investment.
Sorry, that was a long tangent.
No, there's a lot of investment from not only Kingdom Holding. I remember we did a story. MIS sold its stake in XAI. It was 1 million. PIF has an electric stake indirectly into X. QIA, which is Qatar Investment Authority, nearly 500 billion. Sovereign Wealth Fund, they've invested in XAI. They participated in Series B and C both. Both of them were $40 billion raises, I remember. OIA, Oman Investment Authority, they directly announced online that we are taking part in the Series C. I don't remember, because they never tell you how much money they're putting in, but it was led by someone else. But that Series C for XAI was again 40 billion raise, and Oman Investment Authority was a part of it. And MGX UAE, they're also part of XAI. They have a minority investment via Series C, that same 40 billion raise. So everyone, I think it's a personality investment. It's not a company investment. Everyone believes in Musk, that he will do something. I don't know why he's gone towards a different path of politics. He should have stayed on Tesla, SpaceX, all these things that he's trying to build.
I think this is a good new level for him. Honestly, if you control the politics, you will control the money pool.
But it's very difficult to survive in politics. In business, it's very easy. You make money for the investors. You come up with new products, new ideas. Your share prices go up. Everything goes up. In politics, one day you're famous, the other day you're not.
I don't
it's
agree
very
with you,
complicated.
Majid. I don't think he's getting into politics to become famous.
He's just
already
getting back
famous.
at Mr.
No,
Trump.
I think that he's getting into politics because if you think about it, if you're a part of the administration, it is going to be easier for you to obtain licenses to do specific things,
Get
to build
subsidies.
companies, to get land, and I think that's what it's really about here.
Yeah.
But you know, just to end off the show today, Dubai Airports has issued a strong denial of recent IPO rumors, firmly rejecting a report by AGBI that claimed the company was preparing for a stock market listing. So the report also alleged that Moelis & Co. had been hired as a financial advisor.
And in a statement shared exclusively with Smashi Business, we just emailed them, and thankfully they replied, very active. The way reports called the AGBI article inaccurate and not based on verified information. The company said it had requested that the story be taken down and cautioned against further sharing.
Now, the denial comes at a time when IPO speculation is growing in Dubai, especially around state-backed entities. Now, a wave of listings on the Dubai financial market has put firms like Dubai Airports under increased public and investor scrutiny.
Despite the sharp rebuttal, Dubai Airports did not confirm or deny whether other types of strategic reviews or fundraising efforts are taking place. However, the language used in the statement clearly distances the company from any IPO plans.
So for now, it seems Dubai Airports is staying grounded as far as public listings go. But with the Emirates' broader privatization efforts still in motion, investors will likely keep their eyes on the tarmac. And that's a wrap for today, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into the Smashi Business Show. Make sure to follow us across all social media channels at Smashi Business and stay ahead with our daily newsletter. You can find the subscription link in the description.
This has been a Smashi Business Show, a Smashi Business production, part of the Augustus Media Podcast Network. A big shout out to our 1.5 million monthly listeners across all platforms. They've raised up to 1.6 million. And thank you so much. If you're one of them, you make this possible for us to come every day, have that energy to share stories with you. We got really nice comments yesterday on a lot of stories. We're very bullish on covering Palestine and Gaza from a business perspective. Obviously, we don't cover the politics of it, but we try to cover the business part
in
of
the
it.
most objective way possible.
And get a lot of feedback, and we love the feedback. Thank you so much for that feedback.
We did, because
Keep giving
Palestine is a part of this region.
Yeah, and the Palestinian people deserve a better life. Thank you very much. Have a great day. See you on Monday.
Bye-bye.